Hi, hello, namaste, namaskara. ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿ ಕತೆ ಧೀರಜ್ ಜೊತೆ. And I always wanted to start this kate thing, and I was just waiting for the right point and the right person. And today I have the man from the Everest, and it's Mr. Praveen Singh, who is just back from the Everest. And let's hear his experience today on the story. Yes, sir. So, how do you go on this expedition, and how do you even start thinking of Everest?
Okay, so before I would like to say about like Mount Everest. It was my childhood dream,
Okay,
and
like everybody's
yes,
dream in the
every
child.
mountaineer wants to reach one day on Mount Everest, but we need lots of resources for that, especially around minimum 30 lakh rupees for climbing.
So
So
you
that's
spent around 30 lakh
yes,
rupees for.
yes, and that because of that I was not able to set my goal. So this
So
year,
since how long did you have this dream that you wanted to do this?
this was my childhood dream, I can say that. And then
Okay,
this year I started since 2019
okay.
to plan, but because of the
So you
COVID, I
planned
couldn't.
in the year 2019 and it
19
took
only,
you
yes.
3 years?
2022,
32.
yes. Finally, 2022, I just climbed.
Okay. So for all the viewers watching this, he planned from 2019 and he did this this year, May 2022. So it took him 3 years for your information, and it took him 30 lakh rupees to do this. Yeah, yes, sir.
So going for Everest, one thing is like we need a mindset, like a fixed mindset. Okay, whatever things happen there, situations are very challenging, and we know that people die there while climbing, summiting Mount Everest. So I was fully aware about all these things, but because this was my life dream, so how could I not summit? So this was in my mind. Okay, whatever things happen to me, I don't care. I only what I care to reach on top of Mount Everest. I think that developed my confidence to reach on high on top of Mount Everest.
So you had the mindset of saying let anything come by, and you would not just give up and then keep
Yes.
going. Yeah.
Yeah, so there are many challenges I faced during my expedition. There was a one thing what I said, like that it took me 3 years to collect the sponsorship. It was very difficult to collect the sponsorship. Then finally I used my life saving and I took some loans as well.
Okay.
Yes, to pursue my dream. And during my
Why
expedition,
would you not think of anything which is conventional? Like say anybody dreaming about a home would dream about like 30 lakh rupees ka loan and then buy a
yes,
home and flat, or
yes,
think of uh, a probably a conventional one like I mentioned, a home, car, or extending a family and so on. You did not think of that.
yeah, I think these will be part of life, and we have very short life. So it's like one thing like what you dream of and what you actually want to achieve. We should also focus on that, because many of my friends, they were saying that, oh, why don't you just buy a land, buy a car, buy a house? I said no, this is my childhood dream. I don't want to give up on that.
Okay.
All these I will arrange later. First I have to complete my dream. So that was my priority. I kept Mount Everest.
Right. Okay. So, did you all hear that? It was not just being conventional, but it was just following the dreams that mattered the most to him. It was not just buying a land, a car, or extending a family, but what mattered to him was chasing dreams from what he belonged to. Yeah, that's a very nice thing, sir. So, uh, to get started with, to understand more about the expedition, like you took 3 years and then you spent a lot of time. But was this the first time that you went on an expedition to Himalayas?
If I say I am a professional mountaineer.
Professional
Yes,
mountaineer.
so I have been working with one Nehru Institute of Mountaineering in Uttarakhand,
Right, right.
and I work there as a guest instructor as well. So 5 years I work with Tata.
Okay.
So Ma'am Bachandripal, first lady of India who climbed Mount Everest. So I worked with her also 5 years. So that's why I said it was my childhood dream, but
Okay.
then because of the situation, I was not able to set goal for myself. So again, it took me 3 4 years to only getting a sponsorship. We didn't work. So then I had only 15 days left for preparation. So I was
Okay.
like again confused, like what, how to prepare in 15 days for all physical requirement. People at least take 3 to 4 months minimum to
For
prepare
preparation.
themselves for physical preparation.
And
But
you
I
did
had only
that in
15
like
days.
15 days?
15 days.
Wow.
So then I had to take decision what to do now. Then because my mindset was ready to do to the impossible. So in 15 days I went in Himalaya. I started running there for 10 to 15 kilometer every day,
Okay.
and I did two treacherous track
Okay. What's
in two.
that?
That's like two treks I did in Himalaya.
Okay.
That like people take around 5 to 6 days.
Okay.
I completed in 2 days only. So
Okay.
that was like where I checked myself that how much I can walk and how much I
Okay.
can bear. So all this I think that was that developed my confidence after that 15
So in
days.
this 15 days, you went on a couple of treks and then you went
Yes.
running for like 10 kilometers, 15
Yes.
kilometers.
Yeah. So that developed my confidence, and then finally I joined the expedition in Kathmandu, Nepal.
Right. So great. So a lot of people aspire to do conquer this mountain, but do tell us about how fit should one be to conquer this or to achieve this dream, I would say rather.
I would say more than physical, I think mental strength is more important for us because physically we trained ourselves, but if situations comes there like life and death situations, because of that people give up. I've seen in front of me people just returning back from Mount Everest where uh, they just heard about the difficulties, toughness, death, and because of that people just came back.
Just because they hear from people it is difficult, they come back.
Yes, yeah. So mentally they were ready, but when they reached finally to base camp, and many people just returned back. So that's why they were fit. Physically they were fit, but they just couldn't do it because of I think some kind of some fear in their mind. So this I say like physical fitness is important, no matter like what we do, but physical important. But more than physical, I will say uh, mental strength is more important because there are a number of tough situations comes where you have to take decisions, where you have to decide no, I will not give up, I will continue. So that's why this like a mental strength is very important for us there.
Right. So most of you all watching this is another take from the interview. So what he says, it is not just being physically fit, but it is always very important to stay oneself motivated, which is nothing but your mental fitness, right? So you've got to make decisions and things like that.
Yes, so one more thing is like every stages I face challenges there. So it took me 9 days to reach to base camp. So while going up again, it was like every day you feel headache and because you have to acclimatize your body according to the height. So 9 days it took me, and then we were preparing. Everything was happening right. Then suddenly, because of one of my guide, he we lost him during the expedition. So that was again like kind of
You mean to say you lost him completely? He was
yeah,
dead?
completely. He because we were going for rotation is like when we go for acclimatization for higher
Yeah.
camps. So we were doing all these, and then we stayed like 20 days together, and he was helping us, and yeah, we was like kind of a good team there.
Yeah.
But suddenly we lost him there because he couldn't acclimatize well to camp 3, and then he lost his life, and that was like kind of a, again biggest demotivation factor that okay now because we lost first person, some people they started saying just let's go back and then start next year.
Okay.
So for me, it was like I got a chance, and then if I go back again, I never will get this chance again. So that was like kind of in my mind. No, I kept myself busy in some work there, helping other people, cooking food for the people there with my
Right.
teammates, and motivating them towards to continue the expeditions. I think that again boosted confidence again.
Right.
So this was a that was also one major drawbacks. I can say that big obstacles came there to just demotivate us during that situations.
I think that's a great thing, losing your teammate and then having saying no to it, and then just continuing the expedition. It's a really good thing.
Yes, so then again, camp till base camp is normal, fine, everyone can go, and then biggest challenge comes when we cross. After we go after base camp to Camp 1, there's a Khumbu glacier,
Okay.
so it is around 6 kilometers, but we take it 10 to 12 hours to cross it during night without sleep and without enough water
Did you
and
say
food.
like in the night you carried the trek? Like,
Yeah, we carry the track, and then there are big, like a big mountain of ice,
any
broken
specific reason
ice.
why you do it in the night?
Reason is because there's only big piece of ice, and if we do it daytimes because of sun heat, it moves, it
Oh,
breaks, and that is very risky. So nighttime is like because it is frozen.
the danger of
Ye-
avalanche is not.
yes, not there, and then we move to nighttime
Oh,
with the help of torchlight.
I think this is interesting. Most of the viewers would not know because most of the photos or videos that we get from the Himalayan trek is that we see people do it in the bright daylight, right? But then this is a nice thing that we get to know about it.
Yes, so reaching there 10 12 hours continue without having enough water, you
Oh,
lose your complete energy there. And because continuously you are doing Jumaring. Jumaring is like with the help of equipment, big mountain of the snow you are climbing. continues, that is actually tiring. And when people go first time, I think that becomes again biggest kind of demotivation for everyone, that oh my god, it's so difficult, how we'll climb. But second day, third time again we do, and then again it motivates. The mindset become like that. Okay, now we have to do this a part of climbing Mount Everest. And then going to camp 2. Till camp 2 we get good food. We stay proper there. After camp 3 there are two more camps are there, camp 3 and camp 4. So there we don't get enough food and not proper stay as well. It's a temporary stay. So camp 3 is above 7,000-meter height,
Oh,
and then camp 4 is at 8,000 meter. So after 8,000 meter we consider it's a dead zone.
okay,
So the camp 4 is called also south pole we call it,
okay.
and death zone. So after that without
Any
survival.
reason why
So after
it's
that
called?
the oxygen level is very
Okay,
less, and
after
without
8,000 meters.
after 8,000 meter.
Okay,
So and because of that, and it become very difficult to survive there without supplementary oxygen,
okay.
and it is considered like death zone there after this one.
So the
So
chances of life is very, very
yes,
critical.
yes, very critical. A number of dead bodies are there. When I climb, and then I was going towards camp 4, so I saw a number of bodies were on the way.
On the way, you
On the
saw
way,
dead bodies.
we saw the dead bodies there.
Okay,
So because my mindset was like, okay, now we have seen videos already of those dead bodies, so it
yeah.
was not a kind of surprise. It was like, okay, now there's a part of our expedition.
So with
Those
these
people
dead
choose.
bodies were like the path to your.
Yeah, part 2. Yeah, one body was on the way only, so we
Okay.
had to cross from there, and the number of other bodies were like in the crevices.
Oh,
So, but my mind was only focused towards Mount Everest, not like that. Okay, these are part of,
okay.
because those people chose, but they couldn't succeed. These people tried, but they met death.
Having to know the death path and then choosing the path again, what makes you choose it? Like say after 8,000 feet, 8,000 meters, it's a death zone. That's what you call. And then
Yes.
uh, how do you still go to choose that and then conquer the heights?
This was basically when I started from home. The one thing was in my mind: no matter what problems comes, I have to reach on top. I have to reach my goal. So because of that, I think the great determination and just focused attitude and a fixed goal, what I set for myself, that no, I have to reach on top, that only helped me. So the number of other challenges also came. After camp 2 we did not have proper food. We reached
Okay.
at camp 3, and then we had just Maggie soup there.
Oh,
I started with 1 cup of coffee, and then started for track 2 till camp 4 we reached there. And then camp 4, if we remove oxygen mask,
okay.
you start feeling vomiting. So even if you want to drink something, it becomes very difficult to survive there. So I remember I just had one mug of Maggie soup at
Okay.
Camp 4, and then we started with that only. And we reached on top of Mount Everest. Before that, at balcony, my Sherpa who was guide with us, he was sick there. He said he wanted to return back. He came back from camp from that point, and I had to take decision. I have to go back with him, or I have to move on.
Okay.
So that was also a point where I had to take decisions. No, I can't give up, because my Sherpa is ill, so he's going back, but I cannot. I will go up. So that was also one decision where I took, and then I just went alone and then reached on Mount Everest. There are many other people were climbing, but that was also one point, critical point to decide to move on.
Wow. So you lost your. So I guess it would have been very difficult for you. Like you lost your mentor and your friend, and then you lost your guide in between the trek and all those things. And also you're talking about just having Maggie in between the trek and then just carrying on for 10 hours to 12 hours in a day. So how did you manage that?
When we reached to Camp 4, so we are so excited there. We knew that it is death zone, and if any small mistakes happen, we may lose our life. But then we were too focused towards our summit. So at Camp 4, I remember we all had one cup of Maggie soup. Even we could not eat Maggie there because of the oxygen and high altitude there.
Okay.
So we had that, and around 10 o'clock night we started our final track to climb Mount Everest. So yeah, what I said, like half the way, when it was like 4 hours to reach to Mount Everest summit, we call it balcony. So there, our one guide uh, fell ill,
Okay.
so he just returned back to Camp 4, and then it was my decisions also, because what I have to do. Then I took decision, okay, let's just move on. I felt like my vision is so beautiful and it is there.
Okay.
And then I just started, okay, just let's
So
go.
irrespective of whatever happens or
Whatever
whatever
happened,
comes
yes.
my way, I just keep going.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the point where I had to take decision, just move on, don't go back.
All right.
This moment, this chance you will not get, never will get back in your life. So that was, I think, motivation factor for me. And
Okay.
finally at 11:13 I reached on top of Mount Everest.
11:30.
11:13 a.m.
Yeah.
on 21st of May.
So on 21st of May, 11:30, Sir made it to the Everest, and he was just there on the top of the world. And how was the feeling to
Yeah,
be?
feeling was when we reached, okay, so much of hard work we did for this. That was a realization, and then what I could see there, like in the word humble, there around you are on top of the world. People were celebrating their victory that they made it, and for most of the people, it is like reaching to the destination is like, okay, just they have reached to their goal. So for me, like journey just started.
Okay.
Yes, so then after reaching there, I just thought, okay, now I have reached on top of Mount Everest. I will also will try to climb others, all part of seven summit, seven continent highest peak.
Wow. So he's also telling you all about his next adventure. So that's gonna be conquering the seven peaks and seven continents. And I'm actually excited to see him do that. And when do you intend to do it, sir?
Yeah, so that was like one thought what I had on top of Mount Everest, and
Okay.
then climbing up is actually challenging,
Okay.
but climbing down is again more challenging.
Oh
Most of
yeah.
the climber die while descending also
Okay.
because their body is tired and they don't have enough oxygen.
Okay.
So when I realized that I have half the cylinder is
Empty.
over,
Okay.
and then I had to run fast. But then when I tried to run, because then you need more oxygen, you
Oh.
even cannot run there. You
Okay.
have to remove more because there's only dry air and no oxygen. Even no matter how much time you breathe, it doesn't help. So that was also biggest part for us, like to come back and then. So
Right.
after summit, I survived there for 25 hours without water and food. So
Wow. Okay, like 24 hours
yes,
without
25,
water
yeah,
and food.
25 hours
Okay.
till camp 2. So it's still
Okay.
because of that excitement and because of you achieve your goal and then you forget all the worries and the problem you face.
Right.
So that's what I realized there. So now I'm just planning for 7 summit to climb all 7 continent highest peak.
Okay.
So this will be a record. Let's see. I'm just planning in different way. Will
So you're also attempting for a record, like seven summits and seven
That's
continents.
like secret right now, so that I will
Okay.
disclose later.
All right. Okay.
So it will
I'm
be
not
like
going to spoil the secret though.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that will be like I will be the first person of the world that will be doing that in that category because there are different
Okay.
categories.
Okay.
So in that category, till now no one has done. So I'm
Oh.
just planning to attempt that.
So how big was your team like when you started? And we usually like we all do, especially boys, when we plan for a trip, there would be hundreds, and then we actually make a plan. There would be 50, and we when we leave, it would be five of us. So how big was it troop, and uh, how many people were there initially, and then how many made?
Oh, this year at base camp, if you see, there will be around 4 or 5,000 people will be at base camp.
Okay.
Yes, so many people return back. So this year for Mount Everest, around 25 people
Okay.
some applied for Mount Everest. But I think 80 to 90 people couldn't summit
Okay.
due to that hardship. Due to that, some people lost their life as well.
Okay.
So yes, so every year that was like one what
What's
I
the
have seen.
death rate?
So every year people die on Mount Everest. So this year it was less death. Four
Okay.
people died in
Okay.
2022. So it was a less death this year. Otherwise, number of the storm comes, avalanches comes, and number of people lose their life. So this was less like four people lost their life in
Okay.
Everest. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe it's a fortune year for you and most of the people who went there. Yeah.
So yeah, one thing what I've realized. So whatever we believe in, that also helps whenever you are in dangerous and difficult situations. After the death of my guide, and then like my mind became so negative. I was just feeling like, okay, so death will come now. I also will die, and someone will fall on my head while climbing. So this was the situations there. But I realized that I remember the one we call that as per my belief systems, yeah, what I believed in. So that was like a Mahamrityunjay mantra was here, what helped me there.
Okay.
So because I become so negative while crossing the Khumbu ice fall dangerous around 10 to 12 hours, half the path just went like thinking like I will fall in the crevasse and I will die or something. All that death and all these were going in my mind. I chanted that one, Mahamrityunjay mantra there, and that after that I just forgot what was and I was focused towards my goal. That I also realized that I think it's
Okay.
spiritual side.
That's nice to discover
Yes.
your spiritual side and then, keep going and not get stopped somewhere or not being distracted by a lot of things which is happening around. Yeah. And he also mentioned this point, like most of the times we have to recollect that is believe and then you become, right? So that's the mantra also that you got to learn.
So yeah, and what one thing I heard in the book, no, when in Alchemist one book is in one book it's written like if you want something, all universe conspire to help you to achieve it. So that I experimented with myself. It happens with me because in 15 days time I prepare myself mentally, physically, and then I did, and all the things went like universe was supporting me in that in less time also. That's what I recollected through that book.
I think he can also write book, share his thoughts. Like just now he shared, uh, universe comes together when you dream or believe in something that you really want to do, and it has turned out to be true in his story. So all of you all watching this, or maybe when you watch this and go back to whatever you do, if you really believe, I'm very sure you'll all become. Yeah.
So yeah, that see one thing is like from my side, I wanted to just reach on top of mountains. I was too focused, but then you need support as well of your teammates and the organization you work with. So here I can say that in the school of leadership, all the director or CI and all the trainers they just guided and then motivated me towards my goal. So that was like a, wherever you get stuck and wherever you feel you can't do it or maybe you are getting demotivated by something, then where there are team members or people, they play a major role there who motivates you. So here also my director Colonel Satyarao sir and Major Deepak Raj and other trainers, they helped me, they motivated me, they guided me wherever I was getting stuck because I had very less time and then I have to prepare myself for Mount Everest. So I got great motivation and inspiration from my team as well. So that is also a major role of.
So it's nice to learn that to conquer something, it's also important to have a good peer circle. And Sir is currently working in the School of Leadership, where he's a trainer and he gives credit to his teammates. So that's a nice thing again, and a great gesture by somebody like you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, nice sir. So, anything else that you want to convey to our viewers? Tell something about your expedition, or for people who are viewing this and aspiring to do this one day, what is your message to them?
So I will say in two ways. One is like a people who really wants to go on Mount Everest or maybe they have some other plans for other peaks. So one thing is just keep yourself physically fit and mentally, because no matter what happens, if you really want to achieve, you will achieve it. And for those people who are not mountaineer, who don't want to climb Mount Everest, but they have also their own Mount Everest, like
Right, right,
their individual goals they have.
right.
So if they want to really want to achieve their goal, so they have to do keep like a focus themselves, staying positive, and never giving up attitude, and trying again and again. I think that will help them. What helped me in Mount Everest, it took me three years to reach on top of mountain. I didn't give up. So maybe I think it also can help those people who have they have their personal goal, and no matter what goal they have, but if they are focused, they don't give up, and they are positive towards their goal, and they believe in themselves, I think that will help them to achieve their goals.
That's a nice message that he has got to tell all of us. So, for people who aspire to do this, it's something that you have to learn. Being physically fit is not enough, but being mentally fit is also equally important. And the second point he mentions with all the humbleness, he says, uh, people who don't aspire for Mount Everest, it's absolutely okay, but there are a lot of other Everest or other things that they dream of, and it's good that we all conquer them. Okay, sir.
So yeah, this is my message actually. So no matter how big you are or how great you are, never forget people who work with you, and take support from each other, respect people, and that's what I feel. Because if we respect people, if we respect nature, nature also respects us. Because in my whole expedition, I got a great support from people wherever I went, and from nature as well. I can say that because there
Right.
also I didn't find any harsh weather.
Right.
I felt like okay, I'm connected with nature. So
And like
that
you
is
mentioned, the universe just came
yes,
together to
yes,
help you
yes.
out.
So all the way wherever I met people, they were very humble. People were very humble and people were respecting. That I felt because I also do with other people. So in
Right.
my difficult situations, same thing happened with me also. I got a great support from whoever met me during my
Right.
this expedition. So thank you so much for interviewing me,
Thank you
and
so much.
yeah, I want to say thank you to everyone who helped me in my expedition.
And just before we finish, thank you all for staying up and then viewing this. I'm done with my questions, and if you have some questions, it's a chance for you. You can shoot the questions to the Everester. Any questions you have? Anybody? No questions? You have the man of Everest. So you want to ask something? Please go ahead. Yeah.
Should we actually have such high aims? And is it okay to dream so big? And even if you're unable to achieve it, regardless of achieving it, is it okay to dream that way?
So I think like if you dream big, you can achieve that. That I assure you. If we dream small only, then how we'll achieve that? It's better we always dream big, and then if we dream big, then only we can give 100%. We'll work according to that. We'll do more hard work. But if we are not dreaming only, if we don't have any aim, if we don't have any goal, so that means we will be just living our life without any aim and objectives. So life is very short. So we should do something that can inspire other people, no matter what goal it is. So for me, it was Mount Everest, reaching on top. Maybe for you, it will be different goal. So always think big, whatever you can, and we have potential to achieve that. Only one thing is to explore more. I think that will remind you how much you can do.
Yeah. And I just remembered this thought for your question. There's a saying which goes, a man without an imagination is a bird without wings. So
Yes.
dream big, and like Sir said, keep exploring, try opportunities.
So for me again now, because Mount collecting that sponsorship was difficult for me because around 30 lakh rupees I had to manage for this expedition. So more than climbing to Everest, bigger Everest was like sponsorship.
Yeah.
But still I manage that. And again I'm not stopping here. My aim is to reach on all 7 continents highest peak. So that again based because of climbing Mount Everest, again it is developed. I became more confident now. I became more resilient, and I believe that one day I will be reaching on all 7 continent highest peak, and then will be again able to share my experiences.
Great, sir, great. We would love to see that happening, and it is not just that I believe, but we all believe that you are going to conquer for this. And kudos to you, sir. And
Thank you so much.
yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So ಇದೇ ಥರ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರಿ ಬಿಟಿ ಕತೆ ಧೀರಜ್ ಜೊತೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.